Welcome to the world of stand-up. This is stand-up. I'm Bryce Prescott. We're doing a solo episode, but I got to be real for a second. I have been feeling like I've been missing the funny. I have this part of me that I love developing myself into a better version of myself. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but I put a lot of attention and effort into, making sure that I live a life that I would be proud of and the results that come with it. But that's not funny, unfortunately. So it's time to get back to my roots. So what we got is we got a little bit different of a setup here today. The Robin to my Batman, Conn, my producer, he's on mic with us too.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
And I figured let's just have a little story time because I enjoy telling fun stories, and I've got some crazy things that have happened to me in my life, and there's even some current events that maybe, just maybe, my perspective might be funny. So there it is. That was a very ineffective intro. I'm judging myself in the podcast space. That intro sucked, but who cares? What are we doing, Conn? What are we? CP.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
I've been working with you since August.
Right. But now we got to make sure that these questions they're not like scripted here. Like
No, not at all. You don't know where they come from. This is me just kind of gathering evidence of your past and see where it takes us.
Yeah, bro. Let's let her rip. All right, what are we doing?
So just right off the bat, have you ever been to jail?
Have I ever been in jail? Yeah. Actually, I have. Next question.
No, let's dive into it a little bit.
No, dude, I've been to a jail several times because I got friends that are degenerates. I'll put it that way. But the one time I've been actually in jail was, it was a while ago. And it wasn't even here in Utah. I was driving, and I didn't realize that I was driving on a suspended license. I was driving to Boise, Idaho. And if you've ever been in Boise or on your way to Boise from Salt Lake City, you drive up northern Utah, and then you start driving west, and there's all these little podunk farm towns that are there. So just imagine that. You're just driving by fields. It's pretty flat, like nothing's happening. And I'm in the right lane, and there's a car going super slow. So I get in the left lane to pass him. I accelerate, and there was a cop right on the other side. Woo! Pulls me over. I think there's nothing wrong. Everything's all good. And this guy says, "Hey, man, your license is suspended. There's a warrant out for your arrest. You want to get out of the car?" And I kind of shit my pants. I got to be real because I'm not a guy that likes jail,
No,
and I'd never been in the system that way. I'd never done anything. I mean, I'm a white male. Like, I don't have any experience in this shit. Okay. So they take me to this small place in Jerome, Idaho, and I gotta be real. Like, I was freaking out. But the incident that was most memorable for me is they book me in, and they're doing the thumbprint thing, and I'm so nervous. They took my car somewhere. I didn't know where they took it, and I was freaking out about my car. I was supposed to be meeting somebody in Boise. Not just somebody. I was supposed to be meeting my ex-wife to pick up my kids in Boise because that's where they lived, and it was their weekend to come from me, and so I had to, it was just not good.
It was the worst timing.
Worst, dude. The timing sucks so bad. But I get into this jail cell, and there's only me and this other dude, and this other dude in there was clearly like a meth head. Like, he's like, scratching him, says, "Hey, man," he's trying to talk to me, and he's using code alien words. "Hey, man," he started to tell me that it's kind of funny when I think about it, because he started to tell me that weed would never be legal. I'm having a conversation in a jail cell with a meth head about the legalization of marijuana, like how gnarly. He tells me, "Hey, weed's never going to be legal because the globalists are using it as a control mechanism, and it's never going to be by far." He was just going off on all this stuff, and
it makes me question, how often are meth heads right about things, about their conspiracy?
Well, dude, a clock is right twice a day, a broken one, so I'm sure that they got some things in their head that, and I've never done meth, but I can only imagine that you're just like you're just seeing stuff. Anyway, so I had to arrange a bond and everything. My father-in-law bailed me out. I had to go get my car from this compound. I ended up still meeting my kids and everything that day, but I was in jail for like 5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours.
Because I got pulled over at like 6 a.m. And part of why I was in jail for so long is because they had to like wait for everybody to show up at like 8:30 in the morning. At the jail in Jerome, Idaho. Yeah, so I've been to jail.
Was it
shared a cell with a meth head?
Was it a pretty nice jail?
No, it's dog shit, dude. Like
so jails. One of those
I don't know if you know this. They don't have Yelp reviews on jail. Like there's no. Oh, this is a 5-star one, huh? I mean, they say that for like really big criminals that you're going to a minimum security, whatever. But it's still jail.
Yeah, true.
You don't get to pick your furnishings or anything. You still have to shit in a metal bowl that's right there. That's the part about jail that I think would suck the most. Is like you're sleeping on a slab. I have a friend that like went to jail for 19 days, and this dude's tall, like 6'7" tall, sleeping in that shit.
That has to be
dude.
rough.
Oh my god, it sucks so bad. So yeah, I've been to jail.
Well, you learned your lesson, right?
I haven't been back. Actually, yeah. The whole thing was based off, I got a ticket that I didn't pay, and it suspended my license, and it got to the point where they needed to put a warrant out for that. So it wasn't even like it was a crime I did. It just was technicality.
The cop totally could have let you off, because I had the same exact experience a couple of days ago, actually.
Oh, really?
So I had my car registration was expired.
Okay.
Driving up to Ogden a couple of months ago, and the cop pulled me over, said, gave me a fix-it ticket.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about it, a couple of weeks ago. Cop pulls me over. He's like, you have a warrant out for your arrest. I had a wife and kids with me. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. He's like, just go home, take care of it first thing in the morning.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I was like,
so it was a good thing.
Dude, the funnier part of that story would be like, fuck, I got to get it done, man.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, all those. My wife has had a similar. I mean, she never went to jail, but we just forget. Like, you get a ticket and you forget. And they don't make the system. Anyway, that's boring. Anyway, what else you got?
All right, so working in this office for how many months now? There's a specific photo that kind of sticks out more than the rest.
Okay.
And it's this naked photo of you, and all you have on is a beanie.
Dude, it's on the stand-up.
On the stand-up.
For you guys that have watched the show, it used to be the art that I had here. I don't know if anybody ever really saw it, but yeah, you have to put like a clip in the thing.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm standing there naked. What about it? It's a. I mean, I forget when I see that picture that's me. Sometimes like, oh, that's a Greek Adonis god.
I mean, it's a great photo.
That's the Vitruvian man. That's the perfect symmetrical beauty that Da Vinci thought of.
You definitely got some sun, that's for sure.
I did, yeah. So what about that picture? I mean, other than your
what happened there?
Attraction to it?
Yeah. I mean, why are you naked?
That picture
Where were you?
That picture was taken in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I was on there. My wife and I had a trip up there. And when I say trip, I mean a trip. Like I was actually on LSD when that picture was taken, and I had just stripped down from being outside. I wasn't naked outside, but I had just come from having a very intense conversation with a deer.
What kind of conversation was this?
I just wanted to know where he was from, man. Nobody asks deer where they're from.
Well, did he reply? Did he talk to you?
I mean, we had a little mind meld going on, See, he was by himself, and I understood this kid. Like, this deer was a rogue deer. He wasn't a part of, like, the herd,
He was off.
He had ideas that the other deer they didn't want to be a part of. They thought that he was being anti-establishment, and he was like, I just want answers from Big Wheat. Like, what are we doing here? We're being fed this stuff, and it's not.
So he was coming to you for answers.
Maybe. I just remember I wanted to pet him, but I didn't think that was going to be smart because he could have freaked out. At that same trip, like we were like 30 feet away from a moose too. Like it was a trip that was right. It was in the fall, and it was between the ski season and the summer season in Jackson Hole, and it was still COVID times. Like everything was closed, and they wanted you to mask up and all that shit. And so that night, I had a conversation with a deer on LSD. I stripped buck naked, and we had DoorDash McDonald's.
That's quite the story.
the lap of luxury is where we live. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So kind of a follow-up question to that.
That beanie's dope, though, dude. I bought that at a store in Jackson Hole, and I still have it.
Oh, it is, great. Yeah. I've never seen you wear it, though.
It's because it's very warm.
Yeah, well, today it's not so warm.
I have to have my shirt off when I wear it. Clearly. Like I was I was fully warm with nothing on, with just the beanie. So.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So kind of a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Is that your craziest experience tripping on something?
I mean, kind of. Like I remember there was one time. So if you've never done psychedelics or mushrooms, like the intensity of it, like affects how you read energy with people around you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm already very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Like I can sense a person's vibe, and if it doesn't jive with me, like I'm out. Like I don't want to be around them. And so when you're under the influence of, you know, that medicine, I call it psilocybin with mushrooms, and you know, it's made more like it's exacerbated. Like you're super intense to so it's very hard for me to be around children when I'm tripping balls, because they're so frantic in their energy.
Yeah,
they're just like, hey, and it's almost like they can sense what you're doing. And like my daughter one time was like, hey, Dad, like, and it was it was nuts. But we went out to dinner one time, so. There was a period of time several years ago where I would trip every other weekend for 6 months. And then I would journal about it, because I had these really incredible experiences, like when I was under the influence of that stuff, that kind of opened my mind, showed me a sixth sense and things, and I was able to experience all these really cool things and hallucinations and all that. And my wife would be the trip sitter. So like me and a buddy would trip, and then she would be the trip sitter, or me and the wife would trip and we'd have a trip sitter, or Amy would just trip and then I would just watch and kind of handle things. And what I mean trip sitter, it's like you have a sober person that can just handle the life around you, so that you can, as a person that's on that stuff, can kind of
just not worry about it.
Yeah, dude. Like Amy one time was just like, she had her face like 4 inches from the blades of grass, and she's like, they're breathing. It's awesome. But we went to Red Robin, and my trip hadn't set in yet. So like I'm starting to there's like this arc when you take mushrooms, you know. And we go to Red Robin over in the district here in Salt Lake, and we walk in, and I'm just on high alert, dude. Like I'm just looking around, like checking in with everything around me, and like it gets like if you've never done it, you don't know that like there's like this pulsing that happens like when you're on mushrooms, like you feel this like it's I don't know how to if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, do it.
You're missing out on it.
Yeah. And so, like, we order our burger and everything. Like, I'm trying to have a conversation with the waitress. I'm telling her what I want to order. And, like, it's like my mouth and my brain, they didn't have the cord connected. Like, I couldn't – I was talking. My mind was trying to communicate, and my mouth was like, Diet Coke or whatever. Like, it wasn't working. And so we order our thing, and my buddy's there. Amy's there. My daughter's there. And, you know, my daughter didn't know what we were doing, because you're not like, you're still lucid and everything. It's not like you're.
Yeah, for sure.
You're way more noticeable as a drunk than you are as somebody that's on mushrooms. So I order the teriyaki chicken sandwich there at Red Robin, because it's got the chicken breast with the pineapple and the teriyaki sauce, and it's got the special thing, and then the toothpick through the sesame seed bun.
It's quite the presentation.
And I'm seeing this, and I'm just devouring the sensory experience of looking at this beautiful thing. And then I get in my head about I'm eating a live animal that was once live. It's not live now. I'm like, but it's here for my sustenance. Like I'm having this existential conversation in my head about where the chicken came from. And it gets too much. And then all of a sudden, like there's this party that's kind of over in a booth next to us, and they're really loud and obnoxious, and I just can't deal with it. And I go to Amy, I'm like, I'm sorry. Can you box this up? I need to go sit in the car. And so I did. Like I went and I sat in the car, and I sat in the back seat. We had a really large sedan at that time. And I rolled down the window in the back seat, and I just sat there and I stared at the sky while my family finished their dinner. It's not really crazy, but like it felt crazy to me because, you know.
Well, if you're doing mushrooms, I'd say that's pretty crazy. Just feeling
mushrooms are harmless, man. Like I don't get why people are scared of them. You don't want to jump in and do too many of them and everything, but like it's not like nobody's ever died of mushrooms. Like there's a guy named Terrence McKenna who was kind of a pioneer in understanding what psychedelics are and everything. And dude, this guy took like so many one time. We're talking like 25 grams of mushrooms. And if you've ever done mushrooms, you know that like what they consider a heroic dose, which is like you're going to meet Jesus type dose and your ego's dead and you're seeing shit and you are gone, bro, is like 5 grams. So this guy took like 20.
So 5 times that amount.
Yeah, and he didn't die. I mean, he had a stomach ache, but...
No, I mean, I finally partook.
They're awesome, mushrooms. Right?
Yeah.
Was that the first time a couple days ago when you did that?
First time. The very first time.
Oh, wow.
And it was quite the trip for sure.
Yeah, dude, that's bananas.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And I know we kind of talked about this in the past, but I want to paint the picture of when you let Coolio and his group use some of your ski equipment and your gear to go skiing. And tell me what happened and what your wife found afterwards.
Well, when Coolio died, I kind of told this story a little bit, but yeah, dude, I used to manage the rental shop at Snowbird Ski and Summer Resort, and this was back in the early 2000s, and I was there during the Olympics when they were here in Salt Lake City, and he came in with all these like dudes, like Coolio, you know, Gangster's Paradise, Coolio, like the wiry hair, like, and he was cool as shit, man. Like he was super nice. And because I was the rental manager, any celebrities or anything that would come in,
you took care of them.
I had to take care of them. Like I met Josh Groban. That was another funny story. A side note, like Josh Groban, I didn't even know who this guy was, and he acted like he was the president, dude. Like nobody can know who we are. Like I'm like, you're a singer, dude. Like anyway. So yeah, Coolio asked, because being working up at the ski resort, I had several outfits for being out in the snow and skiing, and he had a buddy that was with him that had a similar size as me, and he asked if he could borrow my pants, and I said yeah. I gave him a coat and a pair of pants to use, and he used them for 2 or 3 days, and then got it back, and that was it. Like that's a normal, benign, stupid story. Oh, Coolio, I loaned clothes to. But where it got funny was, so as a side story, my wife at the time worked for a company that was hosting foreigners that were coming in for the Olympics, and my ex-wife speaks fluent Portuguese. And so there was a Brazilian family that came in, and she comes to me and she asks if I would be able to loan this family like a ski outfit because they were going to go doing some skiing. And I said, yeah, no worries. So I just so happened to give her the same pair of pants and coat that I had loaned to Coolio's guy. And about 2 days later, she comes home from work and she's pissed at me. And she's like, what's actually going on up there? I don't believe you. Like she was like, it was like she caught me cheating or something. Like she just didn't believe anything that I said. And come to find out, like there was a joint in a roach clip in one of the pockets of the pants. And at this time, I was super Mormon. Like I wasn't doing anything. I didn't take drugs. I didn't drink. There was none of that in my life. And I had to be like, no, it's not mine. Coolio was the one. I loaned my pants to Coolio, and he left his weed. And
I mean, did she believe you?
Not really.
I mean, how could she?
I'm divorced from her now, so
was that the starting point of the divorce?
That's hilarious. If that was the thread that unwound the rug of our marriage, like I can't be with this guy. He's lying about weed and Coolio. But that's one of those things where like truth is stranger than fiction. It's like that was what was funny to me about that story, because I had to be like, no, it's not me. It's Coolio.
But because it's so far-fetched that you kind of sound like you're lying about it.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Dude, that's the funny part, is it sounds like a total lie. It's like, but it's if you were really gonna lie, I don't know. It's one of those things where I probably would have gotten less of a look if I'd have been like, yeah, I tried weed, sorry. When I hadn't.
Yeah, and you guys would still be together.
No. Nope. No.
All right, moving on from that.
Coolio.
All right, so I know you and you and Amy, you guys have really amazing conversations when you're together.
She's funny, dude. Yeah.
She is. She's hilarious. I've seen a lot of videos of you guys together, and I just laugh.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the funniest thing your wife has ever told you? Or said to you?
The funniest thing that Amy's ever said. I don't know if this is actually the funniest. Like in the summertime when we would hang out on my back deck, because I would have a friend over at the same time, we'd have like quote of the night. And a lot of times Amy had the most funny shit ever, that she was the funniest one out of all of us, which is saying something because I'm actually in comedy, you know? But I think for me, one of the things that she said that made me laugh the hardest. So, I got to give backstory, dude. So I love Christmas music. I love it. Like every time Christmas comes along, I've got all these playlists that I've made that have all these great Christmas songs, right? And I like the new ones that are like poppy. I like the old ones. Give me Frank Sinatra all day long. Give me, Mariah Carey. Give me. I love it all.
All the classics.
All of them, dude. And there's a Sting. The artist Sting has a Christmas album, but it's not really a Christmas album. It's called a winter album.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like it's got as a musician myself, like it's amazing. When you hear the story of how it was recorded in this small shack in these sub-zero temperatures in this tundra place in Canada. I think it was Canada. Anyway, great album, but it has a song on it that's called Soul Cake.
Okay.
And Soul Cake is the most dog shit song you've ever heard. It's so dumb. It's not a good song. Sting had to take the loss on this one because he has so many great songs, but Soul Cake is stupid. Soul Cake is soul cake. Like he says the phrase Soul Cake. What the fuck is a soul cake? We don't know. Anyway, Amy and I have had a joke for the longest time about how stupid this song is. And it's become a thing where it's like I like to listen to Soul Cake when she's around just to get her response, right? So not too long ago, it was at my house that I live in now. We have this leather reclining sectional, right? And Amy has her spot. And so she was reclined. And she was sitting there with her blanket and everything, and she's asleep. And so I've got the Apple TV remote, and I'm just listening to Christmas music on the TV. So I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can get this bitch to laugh while she's sleeping. She's dead asleep, by the way. I put on Soul Cake, and she does this move. She goes, stupid.
Dead asleep.
Dead asleep, dude. Like it's like her subconscious just teed that up. Stupid. Dude, and I bust out laughing. I can't even control myself with this, but I'm like, oh my God. And then she gets up and she's just like, I'm like, do you realize what you just did? She's like, I think, Soul Cake. And then she comes lucid for what she's saying. One word. Funniest thing Amy's ever said, stupid. In the dead of sleep. Subconscious is always listening, friends.
That is hilarious.
But hey, Soul Cake earned it. It's a stupid song. Dude, I'm such an asshole, man. Like I went to the grocery store not too long, like last night after the event we had here, and there was like a teenager, a tall, skinny. I mean, he was ginger, so clearly he was genetically defected, but he had a mask on. The store is completely empty. He's by himself. He has a mask on. And I knew this kid was an idiot to jump. The guy in front of me in line was buying two of the little 6-pack things of White Claw. This guy was old as shit, man. Old. Didn't have his ID, only had his Apple Pay to pay for his stuff, and this teenager wouldn't sell him the booze. So automatically I'm like, oh, we're living in this world now, Mr. Mask Up. And then he asked me if I want paper or plastic, and I just say plastic. And I had bought 3 cans of energy drinks and then 2 things of cookies. It was like he was trying to build a tank. He put the energy drinks on the rolly side on the bottom, and then the 2 things of cookies, so it wouldn't sit still. And I remember under my breath being like, you showed me who you are the moment I saw with that mask on your face.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the truth.
But my only choice at that point was to go to the self-checkout line, and I don't work there, so I don't do self-checkout.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince me to go self-checkout, dude. I don't get a paycheck from your store. Why would I do the work that somebody else is paid to do when I go there? I don't want to bag my own shit.
Well, I think the bigger issue here is kids are being taught
his parents,
life lessons.
Dude, there's one of my favorite comedians in the world is a guy named Shane Gillis, and he has a set about Fox News dads. They're like, have we got a Fox News dad? Fox News dads are good dads, you know? And he's like, stop disparaging your Fox News dad. Way better than a Fox News mom, is what he says, because they smoke in the house. That's one of his bits, right? But then he's like, but Fox News dads are way better. He's like, could you imagine an MSNBC dad sitting at dinner, masked? We really need to focus on our carbon footprint. And his punchline's like, I didn't know dad was gay. Gillis is the man. But that made me think, I was like, who are this kid's parents? Like, what parent? Because no kid that's a teenager is arriving at that on his own.
Not at all, yeah.
Unless it's some, he's on some TikTok channel where they're spewing all the weirdo.
Yeah, or else he is on his own and he's just learning from social media.
He's possibly a true idiot.
Yeah.
Because those are out in the wild still. I mean, you'll still find those just really retarded people.
They show up in random places, that's for sure.
He was working he was smart enough to get a job.
Yeah.
But he was a ginger, so.
Take what you know now and go back to high school. Would you relive those years? Especially now in today's high school.
Oh, dude.
Could you survive?
In today's high school?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're weird. They're
It's
so
completely
weird.
different, right?
And they're so antisocial. Like, I noticed with my daughter, she's only 13. She'll be 14 in several months. But, like, they have to communicate through their devices.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk to each other. It's weird. Like, my daughter, I force her to talk to me and have conversation. And it's like she's gaining a skill set that makes her the top 1% of all the other weirdos at her school.
Right? I mean, you see a bunch of kids.
When I hear questions like that, I think of like Back to the Future. It's like, well, yeah, I'd go back and I'd buy Microsoft stock. I'd buy Bitcoin when it first came out. Like,
yeah, totally.
Bet on the World Series
or the Lotto.
I'd get that book, the Almanac from Back to the Future,
and bet it all.
I think, yeah. But if I could go back in my own past to my own high school days, knowing what I know now, I think that would be a riot of a time.
Oh, I bet. Just confidence exudes you as you're walking down the halls.
Oh, dude, and I've got 47 years of life experience. I've eaten shit. I've done great at certain things. I've got the whole tapestry of where my emotions have come and gone. And when you're a teenager, you just don't know. So, like, to go back into that world,
yeah,
man. At the same time, it's kind of creepy because you're around high school girls now. And I'm not, dude, that's one of the problems I had with the movie Twilight.
Oh, yeah.
Edward was like 90 years old, and he's dating this 17-year-old. It doesn't matter that he looks like he's 17. He's 90. Gross, bro. What are you doing?
That'd be the same thing.
Yeah, it would be the same thing, except I'm not a vampire. I guess I kind of would be in that case.
Yeah.
Great question, Conn.
I'm just
riffing. Boom.
Riffing it, whatever I'm feeling.
Right on. You got anything else?
That's
it. All right.
That's about it.
Well, this is a new type of episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm going to go out on a limb and bet the clips for this episode are going to be better than the episode itself. But
we're going to make a movie with this.
Okay, good. I enjoy that. By the way, friends, I really appreciate the support you give the show. I realize it's kind of all over the place. I have like self-development episodes. I have episodes like this where I'm just I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here. And
just having a conversation.
Yeah, and then we have the good conversation ones. So go back and see some of the ones in the back catalog. I appreciate the subscriptions. I appreciate the ratings and review. If you haven't given this show a rating and review yet, please go do that. And I'm going to go empty my bladder. See you guys later.